of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. This is Monday, November 15th. If you have any questions, comments, concern, or business with this council, come up to this microphone here and maybe give us your name and address and tell us what's on your mind. Call the roll, please.
Peter?
Here.
Kleeman? Laporte?
Here.
Paul?
Here.
Bolts?
Here.
Member Kinsfater and Kufa are absent today.
Make a motion to excuse.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda A, City Council minutes of November 1st, 2021, regular meeting, recommendation approved. Cemetery Board of Trustees minutes, July 6th, August 3rd, 2021, recommendation received. Golf Commission minutes of September 14th, 2021 meeting, recommendation received. And the Planning Commission minutes of October 13th, 2021, recommendation received.
Motion to approve A through D as presented. Support.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Number 5 is ordinance and resolution 2133, vacation unused streets. Mr. Rothy.
Yes, Your Honor. Before you this evening is a resolution that would vacate streets within a certain plat. The plat is called Assessor's Rough Plat. And the history on this item, and some of you may recall, I don't remember if it was early 2021 or late 2020, but East China School District, in order to sell the property to the St. Clair County Land Bank Authority, had to begin the process of vacating streets. This is done by a plat amendment. Michigan, and at the time, Attorney Downey came to the City Council and said, let's pass a resolution encouraging the East China School District, giving them our blessing to proceed, and that's what we did. Now the East China School District went to circuit court. They had to give notice to everybody who lives within 300 feet of the plat, and the judge is ready to enter into his judgment that will formally change the plat and get rid of those streets. You'll see on this resolution, one of them is called Hugo Street. This is not the same Hugo Street that exists in the corner of kind of by Kearney and Clinton, yeah, by Buscemi's. That's not this one. That street's still a public street. It's not a part of this. And the state law is very specific, and in addition to the judge's order, it requires that the city of St. Clair vacate those right-of-ways. So again, the legal descriptions of those right-of-ways are included here. After passing this resolution, the judge will be able to finish his process, and the plat will be officially amended. So again, this is a required action by law, and it has been prepared and reviewed by City Attorney Downey, and he couldn't join us tonight, but he gave it his approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Support.
All right, the motion made, support. Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Kleeman?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Bolts?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Resolution adopted, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Number 6 is reports administration. Mr. Rothy, what do you got?
Just one fun event to announce. Santa Parade is this upcoming Friday at 6 p.m. Hope to see everybody there. We didn't do one last year, so it'll be good to bring this one back this year. That's all I have this evening.
Any questions for Mr. Rothy? Mr. Downey's not here, but Chris Paul's in his seat. Any questions for Chris Paul? He doesn't want any city departments. So wait, I'm sorry, city department special election results. I'm sorry.
Yes. Mayor and council did receive results of the special election held on November 2nd, but to publicly state the results, all 3 proposals did pass. They have been sent to Municode for codification into our charter. They will be available on the website shortly. So these proposals do not go into effect immediately. The first proposal dealing with ward representation goes into effect January 1st, 2023. So it will affect those running for the candidates running in November of 22. And the other 2 proposals dealing with the budget timeline, those go into effect 22, January 1st of 22. And those have no substantive changes for council, but worth noting. So the day went well. It was very smooth. We had a 17% voter turnout, which unfortunately isn't unusual for a special election, but happy to say everything went very well. Post-election audits are conducted after every audit, either by the county or by the state. And the city of St. Clair has been selected for a county audit that will be handled on Wednesday. So I'll be sure to report those results at the next meeting as well. So also, as part of my clerk's report, I just wanted to give an update on what the Cemetery Board of Trustees has been up to. We did meet today, and it's our last meeting for the next couple of months. We do cancel the meetings for the winter and then come back in March. So just a couple things that have been handled in 2021. One is the 4th year of our headstone repair project. This year, 17 monuments have been repaired or cleaned by Carter Cemetery Preservation. Those are all in the older section of the cemetery. They're easily noted because they are white and much cleaner than the other headstones, but we're very proud of that project. It makes a big difference in our cemetery. And also the completion of the purchase and installation of the 80-unit granite columbarium. That unit will provide 8 to 10 years of use and a minimum of $64,000 of revenue once all the niches are sold. So, and our newest project is our Decorative Urn Project, and that is moving forward. So there will be decorative urns placed at the Palmer Street entrance and eventually in each section of the cemetery. And those urns will be a way to just honor those occupants that don't necessarily get fresh flowers annually. So we're looking forward to that project. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, D is authorities and boards and committees. Council reps, anybody have anything? No unfinished business. Let's go to number 8. Authorized signature uniform video service local franchise agreement. Mr. Rothie.
Yes, Your Honor. The city received a franchise renewal agreement from Comcast. Time for a little history. Public Act 480 of 2006, commonly referred to as the Uniform Video Service Local Franchise Act, governs cable television franchising in the state of Michigan. And it is very prescriptive and limiting on how cable franchises work in the state of Michigan. For example, the act specifies what terms and conditions can be in a cable service franchise agreement. The act also authorized the Michigan Public Service Commission, which is the governing body that regulates telecommunications in the state, among other things. It basically allowed them to create a standardized form that incorporates everything that it needs to incorporate, which is what the act laid out, which is the form that Comcast has presented to you here. This is the standard form that by law Comcast is. If they complete this form, it is approvable, it is good to go. They can turn it into the municipality whenever they're, the agreements, they expire after a period of time. It limits the fees that the franchising entity, in this case the city, can impose. And also, and perhaps most importantly, it prevents the city from denying or negotiating any provision of the proposed franchise. So, and then state law even takes it a step further that if once it is turned into the clerk's office within 30 days, even if the governing board has not taken action yet, it is considered approved automatically. That is what the state act calls for. So I'm seeking a motion tonight to authorize me to sign the franchise agreement. The act specifies that each agreement is for a period of 10 years, no more, no less. The biggest thing in here is the item of revenue, and it's the franchise fees, of which we use in part to fund CTV, Channel 6 programming. We collect from Comcast 5% of their gross revenue. And when I say gross revenue, there's a very long section of the act that says what's included and what's excluded from that term, gross revenue. So I didn't read too much in detail of what it is, so I couldn't answer questions on how it's composed, but the maximum funds we can receive from Comcast is 5%. That's what we currently have been receiving. I did fill in the agreement in the blank 5%, and again, we are looking for a motion to approve. Spoke with Attorney Downey on this as well. He's done a few of these in his career. Again, it's very prescriptive. The state says this is the form they use. If it's filled out and the city doesn't want to do it, regardless, it's considered approved after 30 days. So that's why we're here today. The last one was done in 2011, and here we are. Be happy to answer any additional questions to the best of my ability.
I got a couple more, and if we don't approve it and the state does, is it still at 5% then? Or do they determine that?
I don't know.
And out of the 5%, how much of that actually goes to Channel 6? Where's the money go that we collect?
So most of the money is put into the general fund. A portion, I believe it's about $14,000 annually, is transferred directly into the CTV fund. The rest can be used for any purpose, and it's recorded in the general fund.
Roughly what percent of the 5 actually goes to the Channel 6? My question is, do we need to charge the 5%? Just to create revenue for the general fund? Or can we drop that 5% and give the people of the city of St. Clair a little bit of cut on their cable bill? It sounds like the majority of the money that we're creating on this franchise fee is going in the general fund, correct? We really need another source of revenue, a general fund that we have such a surplus in now.
I think those are good observations, and I think it's ultimately, the political body's decision is to 5%, or do we want a different percent?
Well, if we're going to take 5%, let's get it all to Channel 6. Why are we putting it in the general fund?
But even if we cut that to 4%, Comcast can charge whatever they want to charge, can't they?
Correct.
I mean, they're just at the rate.
Sounds like it renews no matter what we do.
Right.
We
It
cut
doesn't
it down to
guarantee we're
1%.
getting a reduction.
Right.
So they're going
Okay.
to send us 5% regardless. So what are we going through this process for?
If we don't, they're going to pass it anyway.
Pardon me?
If we don't, the state's going to make,
Are we locked in the 5% warrant, or could we decide what we want? 5% is the max, correct?
Yes,
Could we ask for one on our franchise fee?
I suppose so. That would be potentially, if we're getting $100,000 roughly in franchise fee, that's if
Well,
you're
I'm just-
looking at
like I
80%
said, I'm
reduction in the general fund revenue.
I'm confused at why are we hitting the people with cable TV to increase our fund balance in the general fund? When we have such a big balance now, do we really need more money in the general fund off the back of the people with cable TV? Is my question.
See if I think I'm interpreting this different than you, Bill. So Comcast pays us 5% of whatever they collect in franchise fees. And they're going to set their rate no matter what number we give them.
No, we set the rate, Warren, correct? 5%.
No, I mean like your cable rate, whatever you comes into your house or whatever. That's set by Comcast, not us.
Yeah.
And all we're doing is we're saying, look, to use our wires or poles,
Yeah,
whatever,
they use-
you're going to give us some money.
Yeah.
We're going to take some of that money that you've already collected from our customers and put it back into
Well,
our
they
general
collected-
fund.
They charge us for it because we're charging them for it. That's why it's on our bill.
Right, but I don't think that if we cut that to 3, I don't see any of our cable rates going down.
No, cable rate, the franchise fee should go down because you're collecting less money. The part of the bill that's franchise fee will go down because you're collecting less money. I just wondering why we have to get $100,000 from the people with cable to put in our general fund when we have so much money now that we don't spend. Why don't we just cut this down to what it takes to run Channel 6?
So there's a couple questions there. One is Warren, is there any precedents that we're aware of that if we choose a lesser figure that the franchise fee that's passed on to our client base here is going to go down?
I have no knowledge of that at this time.
So if that's the question, so maybe we need some feedback if we can get that for future, whether, depending on what's decided today, we should at least get an answer on that.
I think the answer just walked in the room.
I hope.
You got to keep in mind that the 5% that is collected is for the use of the public right-of-way. So that's a consideration too. the tearing up of the right-of-way by cable company and restoring the power, or restoring the property, et cetera, is an important part of it. Yes, the portion of it comes to CTV to run by these cameras and by the microphones and equipment. But I would hesitate, I'd be concerned that you changed it without further study. I don't know all the ramifications of it. That's really all I got.
I'd like to know some more on it.
I see Bill's
Is this time
point.
sensitive in any way, shape, or form?
Yes.
When does it have to?
It was 30 days, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's 30 days from when the clerk received it. I do not know what that date was off the top of my head.
So this 5% is added as a separate line on your bill as a franchise fee,
That and the 40 cents.
and the 40 cents
So
per
it equates to
subscriber.
about $7 a month right now that people in St. Clair are paying for the 2 fees that the city imposes on the cable bill.
Gotcha.
Do we have time to send this back to Downey and answer some of those questions, or we know when it has to, when the 30 days started? Would you guys like to table this and send it to Downey and get the answers to those questions?
Sure.
Maybe we'll have to ask for a motion for that.
No.
Make a motion to table it till we get further information from the city attorney.
All right. Is there support for that?
I'll support it.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll table that and send it back to Downey. All right, let's go to B, Community Center Painting Proposal Discussion. Mr. Rothy?
I'm going to turn this over to Member Vols to kick this off. He and I have been talking about the Historical Commission, the Community Center, and a potential project to paint the window trims of the stained glass windows. Member Vols has done a lot of the work for the Historical Commission, and he will be able to take it from here.
Yeah. The historical building is quite old, has lots of beautiful historical attributes to it, but one of them is it has wood-framed stained glass windows. And basically the trim on those windows needs to be repainted. They need to be protected in some way. Further down the line, we want to maybe find some other ways to protect them further with some appropriate stormers, something to just kind of get them a little bit out of the elements because they are difficult to get to. Some of them are even above a flat roof area, and the flat roof seems to be just almost encroaching on them. You can see in one of the pictures how close the roof material is to the edge of that window. The Historical Commission would like to get them painted. After searching out vendors for a couple of months here, we got one quote in from a local painter. The cost is $5,000. As Warren said in his report, the community center repair budget for the year is $4,500. So just the one job alone exceeds their budget for the year. So I'm looking for a budget amendment to pay for that painting.
Couple questions. Worthy project for sure. I'm not questioning that. It looks like in the pictures that there were stormers on these at
Yeah,
one
some
time?
of them are they're in various states of condition. You know, some of them are kind of there, some of them are not. They just, I mean, we're just going to try and play catch up on the facility there.
Okay, so you also need money to replace the storm?
I mean, what we've looked at, yes, we will. I don't know that that's going to be a this year project.
That was my other question, was based on the time of year and seasoning, what is the,
I mean, I think he's going to look for a day or two to be able to do it and get it done.
How many windows are you doing?
10.
And that's not all the windows then?
No, it's just the stained glass windows with the wood trim. And if you go by the building, I think it's about 15 feet in the air where the bottom of the windows start.
The local guy, Mike,
Yes, St. Clair.
how hard was it to get it? Bid from a local
6
guy?
different vendors I went through to try and get any response, and he was the only one that responded.
what is the requirement for 5,000?
We just need to authorize $500 more dollars?
We can spend $5,000. I think because this is going to require a budget amendment. Essentially, I don't have the funds budgeted, so if we approve it, we can come back with our quarterly budget amendments. and we'll amend it officially then. But as far as
It'd be a $500
by getting quotes, we've met the purchasing policy, if that was what you're getting at. That all those policies were followed by just being able to receive quotes in this way. That doesn't, the dollar limit, I think, calls for 3 quotes, and again, well, we only got one. But
We requested 10, we got one.
Yeah.
So the amendment would be for $500 because there's $4,500.
Well, no, I'm going to ask for $5,000 of amendment because the other $4,500 just covers the annual repair and maintenance to that building.
All right, I see. All right.
It says new and final quote. Was there any change?
Yeah,
How did we get where?
Yeah, later in the season, he went back and looked at it because time had just elapsed as I was waiting, and he didn't notice the ones that were above the flat roof area in his initial quote. So when he went back to look at it, he said, I'm going to need a different kind of lift to get there, that sort of thing.
So the quote
$500 is what it went up by to get to those other, I think it's 2 or 3 windows above that flat roof area. He didn't have access to that when he did the initial quote.
Is there any chance to approve the 4,500, get that done, go back in for an amendment asking for a quote on the dormers to get the job completed
So
properly?
with the storm windows, is that what you're asking about?
Yeah.
So the Historical Commission right now is in the process of looking at several projects that need to be done to the exterior of that building to seal it up. They recently had a leak in the roof, and so we have quotes from I think is it Zimmer Roofing, I think, that came out, or TriStar, I can't remember which one came out. We have a door that needs to be replaced, and a couple of other projects. What they're thinking for their initial approach is to contact the Community Foundation and see if we can't do some kind of matching grant. Some money that we've had donated into the Historical Commission, pair that with maybe something the Historical, or the Community Foundation could do, and then we would see, because the numbers they're big. I mean, for a roof on that church, that age, the shingle part alone is massive, and high, steep. It's just,
Right.
yeah. So they're in the process of getting those quotes. They've got the quotes for the door. They're in the process for doing the work on the roof right now. But they did get a repair done, I think, 2 weeks ago.
What's the cleanest way budget-wise to do this as far as getting them to what they need?
I would say authorize the administration to accept the quote for the work of $5,000 and directing city superintendent and the finance director to present budget amendments during our regularly scheduled Q1 budget amendments, which we'll do in January.
Right. I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
Authorize the city superintendent to, whatever you just said, all that.
That's got it.
And that's typing?
With the budget director and get the $5,000.
I think, Annette, do you have it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, okay.
Does that get you what you need to get the work done now?
Yes, initially, yeah, exactly. To get the work done now, the most pressing work, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you, Micah.
Thank you.
Number 9 is claims of council for November 4th and 12th, 2021.
I got more of a comment than a question, but I was talking to Warren today, we went over some of these checks. And the one for the water plant air handling system, obviously they fixed it, $7,000. My question, Warren, was, can we start getting local people, start local before we go to different counties, start hiring people to, for example, fix a furnace?
I think we usually do that. We didn't get very many responses on the last one, did we?
I believe we received 4 quotes for the work from various entities. I don't recall from whom or where. That's all I can say at this time.
Yeah.
I just like to see some of the money, we have heating and cooling people in the city of St. Clair.
Yeah.
They don't want to price it, that's up to them, but, we got to go to Macomb County to get contractors to work on our stuff. We spend our money in Macomb County. Nothing against Macomb County, but I think we try to draw it back and keep it, at least in the county, keep it a little closer to home. where our tax money's going.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it costs us a little more for somebody local, at least, I think it's something we need to start looking at, where we spend our money.
Okay. Anything else on claims and accounts?
Hearing nothing else, Chair, I make a motion to approve as presented.
Support.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Number 10 is public questions and comments. Anybody have any non-agenda items to talk about tonight?
Sheriff Goslin coming up to give me a price on my roof. It's the same roof that's on. I'll give you his number.
Okay.
I think he's coming next week.
Good evening, Mayor Cedar and council members. Phil Lundman, corner of 9th and Clinton. That's 902 Clinton. And no, I'm not here to talk about the bike path. Just so you know, I was paying attention. I saw your meeting on the 1st of November, your council meeting, and about the proposed purchase of a Bobcat tractor for blowing snow in the back of a dump truck. Being a Yooper, I can tell you this is the primary way that they remove the snow from the downtown streets in my hometown. Having no place to push the snow, they would have the snow go and a dump truck drive side by side while they blew the snow into the truck. Sideboards are recommended for the traffic side. Since both units were about equal in size, the snow was blown downward into the bed of truck and hauled off with no problems. Again, sideboards helped out considerable on the traffic side in case you had a rock or something or an ice chunk so it wouldn't go out into the road. This is their primary way of removing the snow up there in the downtown areas, and I presume it's throughout most of the communities up there because the roads are quite narrow through the downtown passages. There is always a possibility, as Mr. Kleeman said, that a stone or an ice chunk could bounce out into the lane of traffic. That was the purpose for the sideboard that they would put up. A Bobcat is a multi-use piece of equipment that can be used in many different areas throughout the city. I think it's probably a good option for you. It'll be a definite asset to the DPW staff. I do have one question, though, that I don't recall if it was covered or not. I don't remember hearing it. And just for the record, how much is this unit going to cost with all the attachments and goings on? What was the dollar figure, and where's the money coming from?
77.
I think was.
It's actually it's in the minutes real quick. Hang on a second.
If you don't have it, we can
I
wait
have
till, okay, go ahead.
$77,317.13 for the machine and all the various attachments.
77,000,
Yes.
okay.
Yes,
So
and that is coming from the equipment pool fund.
Okay.
Which we normally
Okay.
use for equipment purchases.
Okay, well, I know they're not cheap, and we had several of them in my last military unit, and the boys loved them. They'd fight for driving it, so it would be a definite asset for your people, although the dollar figure is what's the biting part. So anyway, so much for my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
Anybody else? All right, let's go to number 11. I actually have a few things tonight. Be patient. Talk to Chief about that. Trash day will be next Friday, day after Thanksgiving, and it's also the last day for...
For yard waste pickup by Waste Management.
Okay. The Chamber Christmas Market is December 3rd to the 5th. Babes Over Bucks, this Thursday at the Review Plaza. This Friday, 6 o'clock, the Santa Parade and the tree lighting. This Saturday, the 20th, over on 7th Street, they're having that fundraiser. That's 4 o'clock till 11 or 12, I think. Trash Chamber. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Be safe and be healthy. Anybody have anything?
City offices will be closed on Thanksgiving and the day after. Happy Thanksgiving.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
Mary Jane Hay.
Thank you. Mary Jane Hay passed away, that's right. Thank you. Mallard Landing, Faith Medical.
Bowie,
Yep.
Yeah.
trailer park, she owns everything.
All right.
Hearing nothing else, Your Honor, I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, have a good night, everyone. Be safe.